All right, today we're talking about an absolute legend, a guy who's more than just a musician, he's a force of nature. For generations, he has defined rock and roll with a swagger that is all his own. Of course, I'm talking about Mick Jagger. So what does make a rock star immortal? I mean, really think about it. Is it the music? The attitude? Or is it just a sheer refusal to ever leave the stage? In Mick Jagger's case, you kinda gotta say it's all of the above. He seems to have cracked the code to artistic immortality, and we're gonna break down how he did it. I mean, just look at that number, 6 decades. Let that sink in for a second. For more than 60 years, Mick Jagger has been at the very top of his game. He's this constant presence in a world that is always changing. This isn't just a career, folks, it's a phenomenon. So how did it happen? How did Sir Michael Philip Jagger, a middle-class boy from Kent, become this global symbol of rebellion and vitality? Well, it's a story that starts not with some big bang, but with a simple chance encounter. To really understand the legend, we have to go right back to the beginning, right back to a childhood friendship that would eventually, and I mean eventually, change the entire course of music history. You know, you might expect a rock rebel to have some wild, crazy youth, right? But Jagger's early life was surprisingly conventional. His dad was a teacher, he sang in the church choir, he was even studying at the prestigious London School of Economics. But everything changed with one crucial moment, reconnecting with his old childhood friend, Keith Richards. The two of them were bonded by this deep, shared passion for American blues and rock and roll. And it was just a perfect partnership. You had Jagger, who brought that unmistakable voice and that electrifying stage presence. And then you had Richards delivering those unforgettable guitar riffs. Together, they were a totally unstoppable creative force. So, with that partnership as its foundation, the band officially formed in 1962. But they weren't just another group, not by a long shot. They were crafting a sound and an image that would become an anthem for rebellion. Remember, this was an era completely dominated by the clean-cut image of the Beatles. The Rolling Stones came along and offered something totally different. They were positioned as the dangerous ones, the bad boys. They were gritty, they were raw, and they tapped into a rebellious energy that the youth of the time were absolutely craving. And that rebellious energy just fueled an iconic songbook. From the raw frustration of Satisfaction to the dark, ambitious story and Sympathy for the Devil, the Jagger-Richards duo created a catalog of hits that basically defined an era. And their success, of course, was colossal. We're talking over 200 million records sold worldwide. This number isn't just about popularity, it's about global cultural impact. The Stones weren't just some British band, they became a cornerstone of rock music across the entire planet. But for an artist like Mick Jagger, even fronting the world's biggest band wasn't enough. No way. His creative ambitions always stretched way beyond the Rolling Stones. He forged his own path in a bunch of different arenas. He released solo albums that proved his voice could carry a project all on its own. He ventured into acting, taking on some really complex roles, and even decades later, he was still innovating, co-founding the supergroup Super Heavy. The man just never stopped creating. So, when you put it all together, the longevity, the timeless music, the constant reinvention, what's the ultimate legacy? Well, it all comes back to one core idea. Mick Jagger defined what it means to be a rock frontman. Before Jagger, the concept was still kind of forming. He created the template, the charisma that could hold 100,000 people in the palm of his hand, the daring performance style that pushed social boundaries, and of course, the sheer endurance to do it year after year, decade after decade. He is so much more than a singer. He's a symbol of rock and roll vitality and rebellion, a living embodiment of the energy and the spirit that continues to inspire countless musicians who pick up a microphone and dream of commanding a stage. And that brings us to our final thought. As you look at the music landscape today, with all of its own icons and influencers, it really makes you wonder, has anyone truly filled his shoes? Who is the Mick Jagger of today? That's something to think about.